My name is Josh Miller. I own Riverstone Kennels, and I've been training gun dogs for more than 16 years. I have field trialed, I've hunt tested, but at the end of the day, I'm a duck hunter. You might find that the duck in our Duck Dogs podcast is spelled uniquely. The UK stands for my British Labs. I love my British Labs. I love what they offer me, both as a part of my family and the high motor in the field. As you're going to find, I have some pretty special dogs. Follow along in our podcast series here as we talk about both in the field hunting and in the field training situations that will hopefully help you progress with your dog at home. Thank you, as always, to Eukanuba. Eukanuba Premium Performance Sport 3020 is the food that I am feeding my dogs here at the kennel, and I would highly, highly recommend that you go check out that food. It has been fantastic. Thank you to Lucky Duck. Go check out the 5-star crash test rated Lucky Duck Kennel, large and intermediate sizes. They have new fans. They have a bunch of new products out. Go check them out at www.luckyduck.com. Also to Gun Dog Supply. We're in the training season. You're going to need equipment. You're going to need refills on shells and poppers and bumpers and everything else. It is your one-stop shop for all of your training needs. Go to www.gundogsupply.com. All right. So this week, I know I'm late again this week. I've been trying, or the plan was to have these coming out every Tuesday. And to no one's fault but my own, it has not been consistent that way in these last couple of weeks in particular. It is a crazy, crazy time around here at the kennel. It means super long days. It means, tons of, clients and teaching, and, there's just a lot going on. But this week, you ever heard the expression, when it rains, it pours? Because that's what this week has felt like. I have had, I'll just tell you about it. It has been a frustrating week to say the least. Monday, I do my routine. I get my training done. I have my appointments, get done with everybody, come down to the house to do my evening chores with my dogs. And I look at Brock, and Brock looks like he has a dang football underneath his skin on one side of his neck. No idea what's going on. Looked awful. And of course, with the time of day, get him to an emergency vet. Spend hours overnight there. Can't tell me what it is. The next day, we go to another emergency vet. Can't tell me what it is. After the third emergency vet and I'm getting everything from, could be cancerous, could be tumor, could be his lymph node, could be blah, 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 blah. Nobody can give me an answer. And I just get, if you've been there before and you have a dog, especially a dog that's very, very special to you, have any health issues, it is stressful. It is way more stressful when I can't get an answer of what it is. So I did what I should have done in the first place, which was I made a phone call over to Dr. Joe Spoo, who, this is one of the many reasons that I just am such a believer in him and what he can do. Within 15 minutes of being on the phone, we had it figured out. We had the right meds, and he is looking great right now. That was a very stressful start to this week. And, of course, on top of this, I'm still trying to do all my work and still get everything done. But his health was a major priority to me, and so it just added a lot to it. What we think it was an injury, and it wasn't, a health side of things. We have him on, some metronidazole just in case, there is any infection in there and things like that. But it is, thank God, much, much, much better. So we think we're in the clear there. And here's where it poured on. Then we just figured this out. And then that day, Bud must have hit a stick or something training, gashes his chest open. The day after that, Clyde, I don't know if he just hit something, with his water entry or what, comes out, he must have jammed his shoulder now, and he's not wanting to use one of his legs. I'm just like, you have got to be kidding me. And it's nothing out of the ordinary stuff, right? It's just, life with animals. There's going to be times that, the health side of things takes a toll. So I didn't even want to tell you what my vet bills were this week. Astronomical. But the good news is that I have my 3 boys are all going to be good. They're all going to be healthy. They're all going to be back at it here in hopefully a short period of time. But it just made for a long week, made for a lot going on. So, because of that and everything that, the stress level that it entailed, I found myself hitting a wall and looking at things going, you need to take some of your own advice. So I can't recall if it was 2 or 3 episodes ago. I think it was 3 episodes ago now. I titled the podcast, or that episode, I titled it Take a Breath. If you recall, it just had to do with you're getting to that point of the year that, we're getting close to the season, you're feeling maybe short on time, there's a lot going on. Taking a breath allows you just to think clear, communicate with your dog more efficiently, enjoy the time that you have together. That's what I needed to do this week. With all the additional stuff going on, it added so much to it that I just needed to take my own advice and take a breath. And it helped me so much. It helped me be able to shut the stress off. And then when I'm training, focus on my training, right? Very, very important to do this because I don't want any of my stress to boil over into the work of what I'm doing with this dog. There's a lot to it. Taking a breath allowed me to do everything I needed to do as efficiently as I could while dealing with everything else. You could be in the same boat. It could be kids, could be work, could be, health situations in the family, it could be anything, right? Taking a breath just allows you to think clear when working, and I would highly suggest that you think about that. Way too often, I think, I hear people talk about how working with their dog is a stress reliever for them, and I think that's awesome. And I think the reason it is a stress reliever is because of just that. You're allowed to take a breath and get done, just like disappear from the world for a minute and work with your dog. That is awesome. But you have to know you. And if you can't shut that off and you're going to take your stress out on your dog, that is a horse of a different color. Take a breath and enjoy that moment. Okay? Your dog enjoys every second that they can have with you. Pretty cool thing. But as I'm looking at this and I'm kind of getting towards something, I want to talk about, first off, I want to talk about Solo. Solo is my new dog that I imported from overseas. And I do not talk about these dogs much until I know that they're going to be part of the group, part of the crew here, right? But the reason I want to talk about him, one, because I did a little story on the Riverstone Instagram page when I went to go pick him up, and so people have been asking about him. How is he? How's he doing? What's his name? All this kind of stuff. So his name is Solo. I've known this dog for quite some time, but finally got him in from overseas. I'll tell you about him. But before I get into that, the reason I want to talk about Solo is because I want to talk about timelines. I know I've talked about this before, probably a lot, but this is the time of year that I have had a few conversations with clients, and I can feel the stress when they don't feel like they're going to hit the timeline that they're wanting to hit, when they aren't going to be able to hunt the dog in the field like they were anticipating this year, when they have these thoughts or these plans that they don't feel like are going to fit because the progressions aren't working out how they were hoping to. We cannot push this. This is not we're not building a car, right? And I know I've talked about this a lot too, is this the progression is going to be dog to dog, and you have to go at their pace. We're looking for a long-term, not solution, but a long-term project here that we're working on, right? Long-term, like don't force something short-term and jeopardize the long-term, right? Take your time. Here's what leads me into Solo. So I did the Instagram story of picking him up. A little background on Solo. So Solo comes from, I tried to buy Solo's dad many years ago. I loved this dog. Loved his personality, loved his pop, loved his drive, loved his style, loved everything about him. But I knew that the owner, who was a good friend of mine, I knew he was never going to sell him. So I wanted a puppy out of him. So I was going to get Solo. I was going to get a puppy out of his litter. While he was what we call a singleton, he was the only puppy in the litter. And naturally, the lady who had the litter, which is also a good friend of mine, was going to keep him. And I was SOL and did not get to get a puppy. But I kept up on him because, again, a friend of mine owns him. She's going to work with him. She's going to train him. She's going to trial him. Boom, boom, boom. And, just out of curiosity, would stay up to date on, how's he growing up? How's he progressing? How's his training going? How's his natural ability? She loved this dog. She loved Solo. But as he started to grow up and he started to get into those teenage years, she had told me that he may be a little too much dog for me. He really pushes on me. It really pushes the envelope. I don't know if I'm the right person for him. And as luck would have it, fast forward a little while, she called me one day and she said, Josh, I love this dog, but I think he's better suited for you than for me. Now think about that. That is a tough decision for someone to make. You love a dog, but you think that the dog will get more out of life and more out of his training and more fulfillment, reaches potential with someone else. That is a hard decision for someone to make. And I have the utmost respect for this individual for making that decision. So, ecstatically, I get Solo over here. And like I had mentioned before, I did the little Instagram story picking him up from the airport. And I didn't give a name. I didn't really give too much about him, but I just let people know what I was doing. Well, we later on used him in a photo that we did for 4th of July, and the feedback that we got on how gorgeous he was and who is that and blah, blah, blah. So it's not out there, but I think it's kind of, leaked out there that his name is Solo. He's, a new dog here from us. But as much as I love him and as much as I think he's going to be a very special dog, I don't know this. And the number of people that have, again, just on his looks, are like, when is he having a litter? When is he having puppies? When is he? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, he's still got to make the team first. Right? He has a lot of work that he has to do yet. Timelines. Why I want to talk about this is because if you are in the situation that I mentioned before, that I have a number of clients that are kind of feeling it right now, that I'm recommending that your dog doesn't hunt this year for whatever reason, okay? Whether it's timeline, whether it's maturity, whatever it is. I want you to know I deal with it too. A dog like Solo is probably not hunting this year. He's probably not, and if he does, he has to finish his training. So if he goes through his training really well, maybe that December, January timeframe, maybe he will be ready. I'm not saying he won't be, but I am not going into this year saying he has to hunt. I'm not going into this saying he has to have puppies. Again, if you follow along, you know that I'm a big believer in you have puppies with the right dogs, not just any dog. He has to prove to me that he's the right dog. I have to see it. I want to watch it. I want to see what is natural. I want to see what he has. it would be very easy for me to have a couple litters of pups right now to help pay for the cost that it took to get him here. That is a cost that I'm going to have to sit on. And I'm going to have to hope that he turns out to be able to want him to be, so that I can at some point, recoup my investment. But I go into each one of those investments knowing that there is a good chance that they are not the right fit for me. Not the right fit for my breeding program. But I do have really high hopes for him. I love his temperament. I love his drive. He is big motor. He is, not that this matters at all, but he is a hard charger in the water, big water entry. He has a composed drive. What I mean by that is he is super, super hard charging, but he does it in a controlled fashion. He's not the you let the air out of a balloon and just, he's not that. He is focused, he is powerful, but he is composed, and I also think he is gorgeous. He's out of the lines I want. Like he checks a lot of the boxes. But now comes the real test. Now, as we go through the training for the next year to 2 years, how are you going to handle it? And are you going to prove it to me? Are you going to show me what I need to see? That's a hard timeline to ride for me. My expectations are none. Because as soon as I have expectations, I start getting stressed out. I start wanting to hit timelines. I want to start maybe pushing where I shouldn't push. I need to go at his pace, and I want him to turn out to be the best dog he can possibly be. Not pushing and not having a timeline and not saying I have to hunt this year. That is what is going to allow me to reach those end goals. But he is awesome. I do really, really like him a lot. I cannot wait to see him progress. I really enjoy this process. I really enjoy taking a new dog and saying, okay, let's start at the beginning. Let's work through this together. You and I build a relationship. And he has such a personality. So he, like I said, big motor, big drive. My 2-year-old daughter loves this dog. I can't figure out if she loves the dog so much or she just likes saying solo. But she'll bring him out where we do our kind of family training sessions in the evening together, and she always wants to run solo. So her sassy little blonde self will be up there, and I'll throw a bumper for her, and she's solo. He yells his name, he goes, and he brings it right back to her. Delivers the hand. He's very, very natural with his mouth. I think we've got something to work with here. I'm really, really excited. These new dogs like this rejuvenate me. Not that I need rejuvenation, but it just gives me like this extra shot of energy. It just gets me excited. Excuse me. Gets me excited because I love the process. I love my finished dogs. And as we've talked about, we need to find a different word than finished. Right? They're never finished. We need to come up with another word. Somebody shoot me a good word other than finished. We need to find another word. But I love working with my finished dogs because it's fun. It's fun to set up in a new place and be like, all right, I'm going to throw this mark here. I'm going to throw this mark here, make them go through a channel on this blind. We're going to go challenge them on this point. We're going to challenge this angle entry. That is fun. But it's also fun going through the process. It's fun watching those peaks and valleys. And if you're going through that right now, one of two things is happening. You are enjoying the heck out of every step, or you're getting stressed out and pulling your hair out. It's that time of year, especially as we get towards August. That's when August seems to be when people panic. Because what does August mean? August means it's almost September. September means it's almost October. It's where people really start to get nervous about things. I'm taking my own advice. You take it too. Take a breath. Don't have a timeline. When you're ready, you're ready. Take your time. Finish the right way. You'll be way, way, way happier. Hope you guys have a great week. I'll be coming back next week, hopefully with a little more time to dig in a little deeper on some of these topics I've been really itching to get to. So hope you guys have a great weekend here. Stay safe, stay cool for those of you guys that are out, especially all my buddies that will be at the hunt test. I'll be at a test. It's going to be hot. Be safe. Be smart. It is not worth a ribbon pushing your dog through that heat. Just be smart. Big thank you to Sitka. Sitka, I actually have an order of Sitka in my living room right now. Cannot wait to open that box up and get some new gear on. Go check them out, www.sitkagear.com. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Leave us a review on iTunes, and a special thank you to DUK, because without them, we couldn't do what we do here, bringing this information to you.